Are you looking for ways to better leverage video in your B2B marketing and sales in 2022? Well, I've recently come across an infographic from Vidyards, and it's called The Roadmap to Using Video in Your ABM Strategy, your account-based marketing strategy. And it got me firing on all cylinders. So I wanted to jump on and record this episode live on YouTube, and it's also episode 233 of the Engage Video Marketing Podcast, to share more about the information in this infographic and what it means particularly for video producers and video strategists. So let's get into it. First of all, welcome back. This is episode 233 of the Engage Video Marketing Podcast, and it's been a bit of a slow start to the year as we've kicked things off here in 2022. Now, if you haven't been listening to the podcast before, welcome back to the show. And if you've been listening for a while, then welcome back. I'm excited that you're here. I'm actually recording this one live on YouTube Live. Now, I haven't done a YouTube Live on the Engage Video Marketing YouTube channel since sometime in 2020. So I thought, why not? Let's create some content. Let's get a podcast episode recorded, and let's share more about this infographic from our friends over at Vidyards. Now, if you want to get a copy of the infographic, you can go to the show notes for this episode at engagevideomarketing.com/233, or look for the link in the comments here in the description here on YouTube. So let me just share my screen now, and I want to share more about this infographic, because what this is specifically talking about is using video for account-based marketing. And obviously what we're talking about there is a larger enterprise level of video marketing, but a lot of what is shared within this infographic is valuable for B2B marketers. So even if you're listening on podcast, you can't see the graphics here, keep listening, because there's a lot of value. And what I'm particularly wanting to do here is to break down, I guess, specifically the opportunity that I see here as a video producer or a video strategist, how you can actually tap into some of these ideas to add more possibilities for selling more of your services to your clients, or really better serving your clients. So the infographic is fairly long, but it goes into some good detail as well. So let's just zoom in and get started on this. So first of all, the way I want you to think about this idea of account-based marketing is that it's about reaching the humans, right? Even at an enterprise level in B2B, it is still humans that are making those decisions. So recognizing that human is going through their life in their business with their own pains and their own struggles and their own things that are holding them back from achieving the outcomes that they want in their business, in their life, and in their career. And if you can show up for them in video in a way that makes the information that can help their life better, i.e. your product or service that you sell, and make that accessible to them, then that's a really immediate win, right? That's a really clear way to cut through the noise that most people are impacted upon so often in their business and in their career as they go through things. So the first type of video that the Vidyards infographic suggests is video for cold outreach. And when we're talking about cold outreach, I mean, we're all familiar with the idea of cold calling, right? So trying to pick up the call, pick up the phone and get someone on the phone and try and sell them something. And if you're like me, you hate that, right? So cold outreach with video is where you're using a customized video message, one-to-one, to a key decision maker. So doing your research first, and then creating an asynchronous video message, which we've talked about on this podcast plenty of times before. But the opportunity here, I think, as video strategists, is to actually work with your clients to upskill them. Okay, so I'm sure listeners to this podcast are familiar with the idea of personalized video messaging in the sales process. But where I constantly see people failing in this is the sales teams don't actually have the knowledge and the ability to confidently use the tools that they have, like their webcams and their smartphones, to produce content that they're proud enough to put out there in their prospecting. Now, this often comes as a bit of a surprise for us as video producers or video marketers, because we're familiar with video creation tools. But for example, right now I'm working on a project with a pharmaceutical company to train 16 of their sales team who are trying to reach healthcare professionals in this increasingly difficult time to be face-to-face with their healthcare professionals, And it's actually really exciting to me to see the difference that a small bit of training and a workshop that we ran can help in getting people more confident in using their smartphones to record video and think about things like lighting and framing and audio and all those simple things, right? So there's the opportunity there for video strategists, is to think about running some training or better educating your prospects or your clients, on how they can use video better for prospecting. So moving right along, let's talk about video email nurtures, the next one in the infographic here. And Vidyard refers to this as sending a series of video emails to targeted accounts based on the recipient's behaviors. Okay, so using your CRM and having them, or your email software, and basically serving them more video that nurtures them towards making the decision to take the action that you want them to take. A simple way to build this into your service as a video strategist or a video producer is to actually offer for your clients the development of a video email course. So when I refer to a video email course, it's a video course which is released via a series of sequential emails. So using an email service provider like ConvertKit that I recommend, you can check that out at engagevideomarketing.com/ConvertKit. That's the one that we recommend and use. You can build a list and an opt-in form, and then a series of videos can be produced that are sequentially delivered out based on a period of time. And that might be over 3 days, over 5 days, over a week, which are designed to nurture a prospect through to better understanding the service that you provide or the result that you can help them achieve with their product or service. So really easy thing that you can actually work to implement with your clients, a video email course. Moving right along, the next one is retargeting accounts with videos. So this is talking about launching retargeting ads, so paid ads using video, which hit specific key people based on their behavior or their interaction with your business or with your content before. So, in simplicity, it's about using retargeting pixels, whether this be Facebook, Instagram type ads or LinkedIn ads. And then if people have displayed a certain action, like they've landed on a certain page of your website, then you know that there are warmer prospects, so you can send them different types of content. Now, this is more of an enterprise level, which requires obviously significant ad spend, or at least an ad spend that you can control in a specific way. So what you want to be careful of here is, burning ad dollars, like throwing ad dollars at leads that are the wrong leads. So definitely seek some advice when implementing this retargeting process. But the opportunity, I believe, that is here for video strategists or video producers is in actually taking the time, if you don't already, to understand video ad funnels. So understand the retargeting process. Develop that into a strategy that you can clearly present to make the case for paid video ads. And then build a relationship with a paid video ad expert, a third-party company that you can actually refer to. Because I don't usually expect or recommend that as a video strategist or as a video producer that I don't expect you to become the paid video ads expert. But building a relationship with those companies. We have 2 that we regularly refer to in my agency based on the scale and the budget for the client. And we have built those relationships that we can be the strategist and we can hand off the management and the implementation of the ad strategy to those experts. Okay, so don't be overwhelmed by this, but upskill yourself, learn about it, and then implement that into your business. The infographic from Vidyard goes on to talk about the goal is always to scale when it comes to enterprise or B2B video marketing. So I want you to think about how you can use these next 5 ways that are suggested here to actually scale your B2B video marketing efforts. Because where it fails is if a business invests in like one strategic video and then that's all that they do, because then they don't have time or they don't have the manpower or they just don't implement the video to see the results. So where you can strategize for scale, then that can be the sweet spot, I think. So the first one is talking about account level personalized video. So account level personalized video, which is the idea of instead of a one-to-one video messaging approach that we talked about with prospecting videos before, the idea of reaching multiple recipients across an account, so across a particular organization, by creating account-specific personalized video. So this is giving the idea of personalization, but it's more specific to a particular account. So you're not having to do it for individual people, but instead an individual account. Now, I want to take this a step further for you as B2B video marketers or video strategists or video producers working with your clients, and suggest the idea of pitching to a prospect or a client of yours the idea of creating video content that is industry level specific personalization, right? So in many cases, it's an easier idea to understand how you can create roughly the same video script about a product or a service, for example, but personalize it for industry. So for example, if you're working with a client who, let's say they a financial planner, right? So they do financial advice, and they would have a number of different types of people who they would have on their ideal target audience, right? So that financial planner might be targeting young couples. They might be targeting, investors moving towards retirement. They might be targeting people in retirement looking to maximize their retirement income. So different messages need to be pitched by that company in order to land that business. So as a video producer or as a video strategist, I would be going to that client and saying, let's produce landing pages for each of those target audiences, those different demographics, and let's produce 3 versions of the video, which is basically the same content, but with a slightly different angle, right? A different lead in, different use of language, but basically the same outcome of trying to explain more about our services and our product. And then that way, by being industry specific, you're going to land much more clearly with people. And as a video producer, a little bonus here, we actually are able to pitch 3 videos to a client rather than just 1. So think about that. Next one here is customized playlists. This is the idea particularly in sales where you can actually build, and using a tool like Vidyards, for example, or you can use YouTube for this same sort of thing, or Vimeo in fact as well. You can create customized playlists, which are different marketing videos or conversion-based videos, which will answer different key questions that a prospect might have. And by sending a playlist rather than just one long video that tries to answer all the questions, they're able to self-select the information that they're looking for. However, the idea of customizing a pre-existing playlist here, I think, is really smart and something that we haven't done a lot of, but I'm going to take away from this infographic that Vidyards have shared, which is the idea of creating a personalized intro and perhaps a personalized outro to that playlist. So that's about, maybe you've got a standard playlist that you send people to with your standard frequently asked questions videos, for example, but can you produce a personalized video for a particular prospect based on their particular challenges, right? So maybe you've had an initial call with a prospect and you kind of understand the challenges that they face. And then can you produce a personalized video that calls them out and says, hey, Ben, thanks for the call today. It was really interesting to learn more about your business. In this playlist that you see that I've just linked for you, you'll find these key videos. And I know they're going to answer the questions that you have about X, Y, and Z. So I encourage you to go and click through the playlist, watch the videos that are relevant to you, and reach out to me if you've got any questions. So a simple script like that personalizes the use of that playlist, which I think is super cool. And we're going to implement more of that. The next one here is gifting and direct mail videos. Now, this is not something we've done a lot of, but I kind of like where Vidyards is going with this. And this is the idea of when sending a gift or direct mail, how about creating a one-to-one video to send to the recipient of the gift. So make a warm personal introduction and let them know that the gift is coming their way. A hint here that they share is the idea of including the gift within the personalized video that you sent, so they can kind of see what's coming their way actually physically in the mail. So I really like this, particularly for larger, working to land larger accounts, or perhaps it's about further developing relationships after, say, a conference or a trade show or an event or something like that. So I really like this idea of personalizing and using video in that way as well. And definitely using a tool like Vidyard, you're able to ideally track the engagement with that video and then follow up once the recipient has received the gift and watched the video. So really work to build that relationship. I love it. And then finally here, actually not the last one, the second last one here is the idea of follow-up demo videos. So a demo video, I'm sure we're all familiar with, demonstrating how your product works. But how can you actually use a demo video or a video to follow up on that demo video? So perhaps it's about diving into specific use cases. So you've got your standard demo video, but then I love the idea of actually personalizing a video that shows a prospect specifically how it might work for their purpose, right? So by personalizing things throughout the sales process and using video to do that, you can be much more targeted with your B2B marketing. So I really like that. And you know, Vidyard also with their screen recording and capture tool enables you to record personalized, one-to-one kind of demonstrations showing your face on screen as well, that just walks people through their own use case of the software. So I really love that as well. And finally, the last one here is marketing produced videos. So when we're talking about marketing produced videos, this is all the other types of video that you likely are producing as a video producer, and we can integrate those with Vidyard into different places within the sales and conversion process. So if you're producing brand story videos, if you're producing client stories, testimonial videos, all those videos that as a video producer you're likely producing anyway, working with your clients to think about how they can integrate that seamlessly into their sales process. So not just at the top of funnel for marketing, but instead helping them understand how to better utilize those video assets that they've got to nurture those prospects, get those sales across the line. And that's where the role of the video strategist, I think, is so important. So as I said, that infographic from Vidyard really fired off my brain on all cylinders, and hopefully it's got you thinking as well. So the link to that infographic, if you would like to see it in more detail, is at engagevideomarketing.com/233 for episode 233 of the podcast. I'd love to hear what you thought of this live version of the podcast as I've recorded it here this morning or today. And I'll be back with you next week with another interview episode of the podcast. So don't go away. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube or follow on your podcast player. I'm Ben Amos from Engage Video Marketing, and it's my role to help you engage